All right, the On the Mic podcast continues on this week. Big fight week, so big week of episodes. And I'm not just saying this because she's here and she can beat me up, but one of my favorite people in the sport. We haven't seen her in 2 years, but I don't know if there's anyone who is dedicated to the sport as much as her, who is such a good family woman as much as she is, as a mother as she is. She is Hannah Goldy. First time on the podcast. Hannah, how are you?
I'm great. Thank you so much for having me. And I truly appreciate those words. That's so nice to hear.
It's very clear on social media, where your priorities are. And, I think one of the other qualities I think you have is that when most people would be moving on, either from a spectator standpoint or from a participant standpoint, everything you've gone through, people could be like, yeah, who's Hannah Goldy anymore? You've continued to train and fight on and move forward. I know we haven't seen you, inside the octagon since 2019, but what's these last 2 years been like for you?
Man, yeah, it's been a road back to the octagon for sure. And, there's definitely been times where I've struggled mentally and been like, maybe this just isn't what I should do anymore. Maybe I should just, be a mom and try to do something else. And then every time I think like that, I sit on it for a week and I'm like, fuck that. I don't want to do anything else. This is what I'm good at. This is what I've been doing every single day for the past 8 years of my life. I've dedicated so much time to it. I've sacrificed so much time with my son for this sport, and I refuse to let that all be for nothing, and just because I haven't fought in 2 years doesn't mean that I haven't continued to grow and get better as an athlete. I've been in multiple training camps over the past 2 years, and I've been growing and evolving, and I'm just really excited to showcase that on Saturday night.
Yeah, no, I think the world is excited for you to get back in there. But I'm going to go back to last weekend. We saw Miesha Tate return after 5 years away. I had Miesha on the podcast. She talked about, becoming a mom of two and watching what her body can do after having 2 kids. And now that, all the negatives and darks were out of her life, it was, dark clouds were out of her life. It was easier to get in there. And now that she's a mom, there's so much more to fight for outside of herself. Do you kind of feel that same way, knowing hey, listen, I'm a mom first, but I'm still a fighter and this is everything I want to do?
Yeah, so definitely 2 points that you touched on there, the mom thing. One is after I came back from Odin, my body changed for the better. I was more athletic after I had him. I was in better shape. I was stronger. Everything changed for the better in that sense. And yes, obviously I'm a mom first. That will always be the biggest role in my life, but fighting a second, and it's it's what I dedicate all of my time to. There's between being Odin's mom, being a fiance, and fighting, that's my life. That's all I do. That's all I care about. That's what I'm trying to make my life be about. But you said that she overcame some dark times. And I will say that, 2 years ago when I stepped into the octagon, I was in a really dark place mentally and emotionally. I was going through a lot of stuff in my life that, a lot of people didn't know about. And I think right now, not only physically am I in the strongest, best shape of my life, but mentally and emotionally, I'm just on another level. And I think that sometimes we forget how important mental and emotional health is. And I've really been working on that over the past couple of years. And like I said, I just feel super confident in every area right now. And I'm excited to be able to go into the octagon feeling like this.
Well, I don't know if it's something that people can just get a vibe of after, having a conversation with me or what, but it seems like the last 5-6 episodes, it's been something that I always want to touch on with fighters, because you fighters have opened up to me about it. Mental and emotional health is something that I'm very public about. I've been honest about. I've struggled with. It's actually, to be honest, as a guy who covered the NFL and NBA and all these other sports, what drew me to fighting and to start covering the sport 7 years ago is this side of it. Tom Brady's not going to talk about mental health when he's winning 7 Super Bowl rings, but every single day a fighter has to deal with that. And, kind of what you're saying, to get back in here this Saturday and to be in the place that you are, how important is it, not just as a mother, as a woman, but as a fighter, to be on the UFC stage and let it be known mental and emotional health is just as important as my weight cut, as my training, as everything I go through to be the fighter you guys see?
Honestly, it's, to me, mental and emotional health is more than any of those things. Like, it's easy to get in the gym and train. It's easy to step in the octagon and fight if you're confident in your preparation. It sucks to cut weight, but it's easy to cut weight. It's not easy to pull yourself out of a dark hole and to put the pieces back together again. So I think that if you could be in the best physical shape of your life, you could have the best weight cut of your life, but if you're not mentally and emotionally prepared to step into that cage on any level, then that's going to stunt your performance for sure. And like I said, I'm just really excited to perform feeling like this, feeling 100% like I'm firing on all cylinders.
Well, you were part of I think one of my favorite and one of the best classes that ever come out of Contender Series. I know you weren't picked that night, but you've got a guy in Puna Soriano who will also be on this card. Jorgen De Castro was in the UFC for a little while. Brandon Loughlin went on to PFL, and he's doing great things in PFL. It's crazy the class that you were in, and for you not to get picked that night, if we go way back to 2019, but here you are after everything you've gone through the past 2 years. They still want you on their roster. They're still pushing you. Hannah Goldy, what does that mean to you?
It's funny because I always go back to my Contender Series night, and I remember Dana said something about me when I didn't get the contract. He said, I think Hannah's a killer when she's moving forward. I think she just needs some more experience. And at that point, I had only had 4 pro fights before my Contender Series fight. That was my 5th pro fight. And again, like, going back to the mental state too, like, I didn't have the confidence then that I have now. And, he said I needed more experience. Granted, I've only had 1 fight since then. I've been in the gym every single day, training and getting better, training with some of the best people in the world. And I think 2 years ago, I didn't know if I belonged in the UFC. And now I fucking know I belong in the UFC. Like, I know this is where I'm supposed to be. I know I can make waves in this division. I know that I can go out there and get finishes. Like, I'm confident in my skills. I'm confident in my preparation. I'm confident in my team, and I'm confident in myself. And I think that that's just going to be a game changer for me. I think that I'm just, like I said, I'm firing on all cylinders right now, and I'm ready for it to be my time.
Well, you're taking on Diana Belbita this weekend and UFC Vegas 32. How much do you know of your opponent? And really, I'm not asking for the game plan, but how are you approaching this fight against her?
I'm not much of a, like, what she's going to do is what she's going to do. And I'm more focused on, just implementing my skills and my game plan. And like I said, I'm a very well-rounded fighter at this point. I'm very confident in every aspect of MMA. I'm confident wherever the fight goes. And, I'm obviously always prepared to fight a full 15 minutes. Like, my cardio has never been an issue, but I'm really not trying to. I'm trying to finish this fight as soon as possible, wherever I see I can.
I want to go back to something we were talking about earlier about you being a mom, and we brought up Miesha Tate. And I know Taylor Gordado was on this show not too long ago, and she kind of talked about stepping away to start a family. I don't know. I feel like I'm getting the moms here recently. But when you touch on that, why do you think it is that after having a child, the body, your body and some of these female fighters, your bodies are just transforming into the best versions of themselves?
I mean, I don't know, like, maybe it's just like some superhero thing that happens after you have a baby. You're like, well, you've had a baby, so now you're granted with this superpower. Like, but no, I mean, obviously our bodies go through physical changes, through pregnancy. And I don't know if it's scientific, like through the hormones, or if it's just like we've gone through something and now we're just mentally that much stronger and we're able to push our bodies, that much further because we know what we're capable of. But I'm not sure. I just know that, yeah, like I said, I felt amazing after I had Odin. I was in the best shape of my life after I had Odin. And I've heard multiple moms that are athletes say that. So, yeah, I mean, just like, moms are basically superheroes.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to get any arguments from me or from anyone really about that. But we talk about, the last fight you had didn't go your way, and obviously it's been 2 years. But what have you done outside of train every single day and remove all the negatives, around you, and just really get back to being the best version of yourself? What have you done in these last 2 years to keep yourself moving forward?
Every morning I wake up and I sit on the couch with my son, and I'm like, I want him to have everything that I never did. I didn't grow up with a lot, and my mom was a single mom of 4 kids, and we struggled to get by. And I just want Odin to, I don't want him to have to worry about that ever. I want him to be, I want to be stable for him, and I want to be able to make money doing what I love. Every day that I go to the gym, like, yeah, so the grind sucks sometimes, training sucks sometimes, but it doesn't feel like a job to me because this is what I love to do. And if you took training away from me for a week, then I would be lost. Like, what am I supposed to do now? So yeah, I mean, like I said, I definitely hit a couple dark places where I was like, I feel like, especially after my last fight, when I flew or what was supposed to be my last fight, when I flew all the way out to Vegas and tested positive for COVID after I had the best training camp I've ever had, I felt more ready to fight than I ever had. And then, I got here, got COVID, had to drive home to Florida. That drive home to Florida, I was like, man, this might be it for me. I remember I texted one of my wrestling coaches and I was like, do you think that this is God telling me that, I should just hang it up? Like, he just keeps trying to close a door that I just want to keep open. And, he gave me a very vague answer. He's like, you got to figure that out for yourself. And I literally I listened to motivational speeches for like 8 hours. And I was like, nope, that's not what he's telling me. He's telling me that I'm strong enough to overcome this, and I'm going to get right back in the gym, and I'm going to keep getting better. And this is just more time to perfect the things that I've been working on. And, this fight camp, I feel I've been better. So, everything happens for a reason, and you could slam a door in my face a million times. I'm stubborn as fuck. I'm going to keep opening it.
I love that, honestly. And obviously I don't know, everything that was going on at that time, but you're thinking, hang it up. I think, the message was to hang on because, your time is right here. And here we are, we're in fight week. You did mention the COVID though. I mean, what was that like for you? We've heard some fighters, COVID absolutely kicked their ass and it changed their mind on how they were approaching the whole situation with the COVID pandemic. What was it like for you? Did you feel anything? Did it really affect you? How was it for you?
Yeah, so it put me on my ass for like 2 weeks. Mainly just like for me, it was just like the fatigue. Like, it was hard for me to get out of bed. Like, I'm usually up at 7 a.m. every morning with Odin because he does not sleep. And I could, like, my fiance was dragging me out of bed at like 10 o'clock, and I would be up for an hour and be exhausted. And then just like the chest tightness was, rough too for a while. Like, it took a while for my cardio to come back. But yeah, obviously full recovery now. I feel amazing. So, yeah.
Well, you had that fight with Jessica Penne, canceled twice. Obviously, you have this opponent here in front of you this weekend. Would you like to revisit that matchup with Jessica?
Oh, absolutely. I know. I don't do a very good job of like following all the other girls in the division. Like, I'm pretty sure she's in fight camp right now. I'm not sure who she's fighting, but yeah, I mean, that's definitely a matchup actually she's fighting Carolina, right?
I believe so. Yeah, I believe so.
I'm excited for that fight. That'll be a fun fight to watch. But yeah, for sure. I mean, anybody can get it.
I love it. Now we talk about, we hear fighters all the time say that the version of me today would kick the version of however long ago's ass. Like, I would kick my old self's ass. But in 2 years and everything we've talked about so far, you can almost look at it as like a teaser to what could be a long and what should be a long-term career. What everyone saw from you 2 years ago, from Contender Series to the debut not going your way. That was just a teaser. And then you have all this time to get yourself right, to get everything that you possibly need to make the best version of yourself, which we'll see this Saturday. How do you see yourself moving forward? And when you look back at the old Hannah Goldy, what should the fans be expecting on Saturday night?
Man, they don't even know what to expect because like I'm not that same fighter anymore. I'm not that same person anymore. And I think that, it's going to be a big surprise. Saturday night, it's going to be a big surprise. And like I said, I feel like the stars are aligning for me right now. And I'm just ready to show the world who I am as a person, who I am as an athlete. Like I said, I feel like it's my time, and I'm ready to embrace that.
Well, Hannah Goldy, this has been an amazing conversation. I'm glad you were up and I was up in the morning. I would say, it takes a lot for me to kind of bug fighters during fight week. And I wasn't trying to be a bug, but I was definitely very much looking forward to you returning to the octagon. I think you have an amazing story of resiliency. I mean, between COVID, and having a fight back out twice and not fighting for 2 years and being a mother, I can't imagine pretty much what your day-to-day is like. And before I let you go, I just want to ask you this. When it's all said and done, when Saturday night is over and you go home and you're with Odin, you're with your family, like, this is just the beginning, right?
Oh, absolutely. And I'm not trying to take very long in between fights either. I'm trying to be as active as I can, over the next couple of years. And like I said, I'm ready to make waves in this division. So expect to see a lot more of me.
Well, I hope that means we do a lot more interviews, before and after your fight. You're more than welcome to come on whenever you'd like. Hope we can talk after your fight. All the best. I don't wish fighters good luck anymore, because I know good luck isn't needed. So can't wait to see you in there. I know the MMA community is excited to see you back in there. And don't want to say a new version of Hannah Goldy, but just excited for Hannah Goldy to get back in there.
Thank you. I appreciate your time.
Yep. Thank you, Hannah.